Hi there and welcome back to today's video. You may have asked yourself before, like, do people who make YouTube videos, I guess aka YouTubers, do we watch other YouTubers? And I think for the most part the answer is yes. All my friends that make YouTube videos watch other people who make YouTube videos, so we too get influenced. So I had this idea a couple years ago. I was like, you know what, I really should make a video trying makeup from my favorite YouTubers. And then I recently saw that Jessica Braun did this exact video, and I was like, you know what, that is my sign. I need to finally make that video. So here I am today. I'm gonna try my favorite YouTubers' favorite makeup. I'm mostly using recommendations from their 2022 year-end favorites, and you guys, I found several products that I am so freaking excited about, and I can't wait for you to see how this full face comes together. Honestly, I'm in love. I'm in love with several products, so can't wait to show you. All right, let's dive in. All right, so my first step is to always prep my lips. I always like to put on like a lip butter or a sleeping mask, like the one from Laneige. I really like that one. But Julia Adams, in her year-end favorites video that she did at the end of 2022, gave me an idea that I guess has been going around on TikTok, but I didn't know about it. And it's to use nipple cream on your lips. And the hilarious part about this is my favorite nipple cream for actual nipples. I breastfed my daughter for over 2 years. Now I have a newborn, and so I'm breastfeeding him. Like, I use this stuff multiple times a day, every day on my breasts. But now I have started using it on my lips as well, and I actually like it. I don't think it's gonna replace my, normal lip stuff, but it's nice to, like, when I do put it on, to be like, oh, let me just put some on my lips as well. Whew, and you just need like barely any. Now, if you are one of the people that has taken that same like TikTok viral hack, I will just give you a warning. Don't leave this like in a hot car or a hot place and then try to use it, because it will melt. And if it does melt, you just, put it somewhere cold. But I have literally like burned myself before just squeezing some of this out, not realizing that it had gotten hot and was at that point like a hot liquid. So just learn from my mistakes, you guys. All right, so for my priming step, I've just started with moisturizer, and for primer, I'm gonna use the Iconic London Underglow Blurring Primer. This is a Julia Adams favorite, so another favorite from her. This was like her favorite base product of the year. I have seen so many people use this, and so today I just did moisturizer and a regular sunscreen, not my normal glowy one, because I want to see how this glows and blurs. So I know this was another really big hot product in 2022 that I just never got around to trying. I just haven't really tried anything from that brand, Iconic London, so I think I was kind of hesitant. So we're gonna see if it, I definitely see that it's glowing. It does do that. I'm not sure about the blurring, but we can give it a moment to kind of soak in, and we'll see, because I am going to do my contour before my foundation today. So we are going to get to see kind of, does it actually blur a little bit? We'll give it a moment to develop as we go into the contour. So for contour, I'm going to use one of the new products I got, because honestly, almost everyone that I really find has like similar contour shades to me, either used one that I already used or just, one of my already favorites. So like I saw a lot of people talking about the Tom Ford that I used in my everyday makeup routine that I posted last week. I'll link that video down below if you haven't seen it yet. And I saw a lot of people just using other contours, and I'm like, I've already used that. It wouldn't be new to me. So I'm going to try this little Milk Makeup one. I showed you guys this in a Sephora haul. I got the shade Toasted. It does turn out that this is the actual full size. And so my guess is that, it's pretty potent, I guess. My guess is you don't need much. So I'm going to do like a little bit of contour. I'm not going to do much because I am going to use a bronzer today, and I'm really excited. It's a bronzer from Michelle Wong. I love Michelle Wong, and I just find her to have the best bronzer recommendations. So I'm just going to, do my little bitty like normal contour, and I'm definitely going to do my jaw. Like I said, I just had a baby in December. I'm breastfeeding, and so for 2 weeks now have gotten back to exercising. So I definitely tend to carry weight in my face, and I know it's not a big deal, but it does like stress me out sometimes. I feel like that happens to all of us. Like, I don't know, are you like me and you just have like kind of a place where you're comfortable in your body, and then like if you go over or under, you kind of start to feel not great? I'm definitely like that, and I think postpartum especially is just one of those times where it's like your body is so different and you're just like, I just want to feel like me again. You know, it's not like about a number on a scale or anything like that for me anymore, thank goodness. It used to be when I was younger, but now it's just like I know how I like to feel in my skin, and I just want to feel like myself. Yeah, I don't know how jaw contour just makes me think of that, because I'm like, oh, I can't wait until I have like my normal jawline back. But hey, it takes, you know, it just takes time. I'm using the same brushes that I normally use, and when I try new makeup, I like to use like my normal brushes just so I'm not, you know, kind of thrown off by a brush. I like to keep as many of the variables the same, almost like we're doing like a science experiment. So I don't like to try anything super new like in technique when I'm trying new makeup, because again, I just kind of want to make sure. And I will do my nose contour once my makeup is on. I know some people do it under, but I can't do it under because I like to use my concealer with it, and I don't want to do my concealer under. And I know some people do, but listen, I am me. Let me be me, okay? You gotta let me be me. You gotta put me first, Lucius. You gotta put me first. I gotta put me first. I've never seen that show, but that sound just like always sticks with me when I see it on an Instagram reel or TikTok. All right, for foundation, I'm going to be using a recommendation from Jessica Braun, one of my favorite channels. I watch her religiously. Like, if I see that she's posted a story on Instagram, I'm like, oh my God, and I'll like scroll over to get to her story if it's not the first one in the queue. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta get there. I just love her. I find her very relatable, and I know, you know, everybody wants relatable. You know how it is. So this is the Kosas Revealer Skin Improving Foundation. This has niacinamide. It's supposed to have a medium natural coverage. So I'm interested in that. I like that it has niacinamide. I'm just gonna put a couple pumps down, and I'm going to use a beauty blender because that's how I normally do my skin. Oh, see, it has skincare, all kinds of stuff in it. Hyaluronic acid, peptides, squalane, provitamin B5, arnica. Love arnica and stuff. I'm seeing a lot of stuff with arnica in it. I love arnica. It's so good for you. I use it for bruises because I bruise very easily. I'm actually going to show you a picture right now of a bruise I have on my leg. It is nasty. I ran into a baby gate, and it's like you would think something like major happened. No, I ran into the baby gate. So embarrassing. I'm a klutz, okay? My grandfather always used to say, there's a reason we didn't name you Grace. And he was right. So this shade is shade 100, very light neutral. It is the lightest shade they had. Could I have maybe gotten away with a darker shade? Yeah, I probably could have, but the problem was that this was the lightest shade with neutral undertones, okay? So when I wanted to get to like the next shade that had neutral undertones, it wasn't a very light shade anymore. It was just a light shade. And here's the thing, I'm not just light. I am very light. So I just had to accept that, you know what, this might just be a tiny bit too light for me. Although I'm gonna be honest, I think it's actually a really pretty good match. I do find that Kosa's version of neutral tends to pull a little bit more yellow than what I call a neutral, but I thought, hey, we'll give it a shot. And if it turns out that, you know, I really love this foundation, I can, you know, go in store and try to exchange it for the right color if I find this color doesn't work, you know, and maybe there's not a better color, but I can always, you know, go give it a shot if I really love the foundation. I just like to start with what I think is going to be the closest and go from there. Again, I'm very methodical when it comes to trying makeup, especially as someone who, you know, I've had anxiety since before we had a name for it. You know, when I was a kid, I'd be like, oh, I don't feel good today, because I genuinely didn't. But it wasn't that I was sick. It would be that I was anxious. But, you know, they didn't know those things back then. You know, they just didn't know that stuff in the 90s. So what I'm saying is, as someone who's been anxious for a long time, online shopping was like, oh yes, I don't have to go in a store. I don't have to talk to people. I don't have to, you know, risk having, you know, a moment that's going to give me a panic attack. So I, have really developed a method over the years for how to shop online for makeup. And I'm happy to say that honestly, 9 times out of 10, I picked the right shade. I picked the right formula 9 times out of 10 because I just have, again, developed a system that really works for me. I have to tell you guys right now, this foundation is beautiful. This is skin-like. This is gorgeous. This is exactly the way that I like foundation. I can see freckles. I can see my skin. It's very light on the face. I don't feel foundation on my face. That's huge for me. This could be a foundation I really, really like. And as I'm looking at it, I think that once I have blush and bronzer on, this shade is gonna be dang near perfect. You guys, let me know in the comments because I really wanted to say DAMN right there, but I don't know if some of you guys watch me with kids around and I don't, I know how it is. Normally I have my headphones in, but if I'm like watching something, I don't want my daughter to hear a bad word. And so that's why, listen, I cuss so much. I've had to really work on it. I mean, I used to love the F word. That was my favorite word. And I could use it like a painter, okay? I could make a painting with that. Like in A Christmas Story, when he said his dad, basically painted with bad words. That's how I am with bad words. My dad used to say that I was like, if Elizabeth Taylor had a child with a sailor, that's the mouth I have on me. He would say, you've got a mouth on you like Elizabeth Taylor and a sailor had a love child. So just let me know, how do you guys feel about those things? About, if you hear the occasional DAMN. Listen, I'm not going to get on here and start saying the F word because my grandmother watches this channel. And I love you, Nana. I love you. And my dad too. My dad's my biggest fan. Listen, my dad will meet somebody and within 10 minutes, he's like, have you seen Ashley's YouTube channel? It's amazing. You've got to watch this. And he will pull up my beauty biography videos and start showing them to people. And I have a great family. I can't pretend I don't. Anyway, so just let me know how you guys, feel about the occasional DAMN or SHIT. All right, so loving this foundation. I think this is beautiful, and I am actually really excited about it. I should have expected nothing else, but yeah, I think it's really beautiful. So, all right, next we're gonna go into concealer. This concealer pick is from Alana Davison. This is the Bear With Me Concealer Serum from NYX. I'm gonna be honest, I have not used anything from NYX in so long. I used to love NYX. Haven't used anything from them in so long. So I'm excited for this. But what drew me to this is Alana was talking about how much she just loves her current makeup routine. And honestly, I'm the same. She was saying, she's like, I don't really want to change anything. And I kind of feel the same about the makeup routine that I have right now. So trust me, this is coming way out of the box for me. And I'm like, oof. Kind of nervous about it. But anyway, so this is a pump. So I pumped a little bit on my hand. I'm going to be honest, I'm so used to a wand. I'm not 100% sure how to navigate this, but okay, I've got a concealer brush, right? Is this a concealer brush? Yes. All right, I've got a little Real Techniques concealer brush, and I'm going to just try this out. Again, I just am so used to having a wand that this is kind of throwing me off. Let me know, do you guys, your favorite concealer, does it have a wand or is it a pump? I was expecting there to be a wand, you guys. I did not come prepared for this assignment. I don't know how I've watched her use this, so I don't know how I just missed that she wasn't using a wand. Ooh, and now I'm poking my eye with this brush. Oh God, you guys. Oh gosh, trying new things is hard. Oh, maybe I'm gonna use I'm gonna use a different concealer brush. This one's from Rose Inc, and I normally use it for my nose contour, but today I'm gonna use it for its intended purpose as a concealer brush, because that other one, its bristles were poking me and I didn't like it. They were too splayed out. Although I'm gonna be honest, I think I like the finish of the other brush better, but this one's more comfortable to use. So I'm using this under the eye, and I'm also prepping my eyelid with it because I'm going to use another Alana Davison favorite for my eyes. And I'm kind of nervous about it, to be honest. Kind of nervous about it, kind of excited about it. We'll see. Spoiler alert, it's the Hindash Beautopsy palette, and it just looks very way too artsy for me. You know, it just looks intimidating, not gonna lie. All right, let's go ahead and try to do nose contour while we're here. I'm gonna take that Milk Makeup stick. I'm gonna use a small, like, firm shader brush for this because I just used my normal brush on the concealer. But I'm gonna have to use more concealer because I always clean this up with concealer. So again, just using the same Milk Makeup contour stick that I used in the beginning for my, you know, under contour. This is where the wand really comes in handy because see, with the wand of the concealer, I can get like so close to the nose contour. So I don't know, I'm not sure this concealer is gonna be something that I wanna stick with. It just doesn't feel like it's gonna work out for me. Just because of the application, I'm really just so used to a wand and I really enjoy that. I know it's not the most hygienic of things, but here's the thing. If you're just using it on yourself, what does it matter? It doesn't. If you're just using it on yourself, it's not a big deal. See, this application just doesn't really work for me because I feel like I just can't get that concealer as close as I want to blend the nose as well as I like to blend it. So I think the concealer is going to be a no for me, just solely based on the application method. Although I do think it is beautiful. I mean, it looks really nice. I am already kind of creasing over here, but I just have a little tiny, like, you know, it's a line of where my eyeball is. It's just, you know, no getting around that. But I will say that this concealer is not really setting as nicely on there as my NARS does. So probably not going to make this concealer like part of my everyday, but I will say still loving this foundation. Like as it settles, I am really loving it. All right, so excited to try powder. Let's go ahead and set. I can't wait to try this. This is the Givenchy. Whew, I'm not good at French. Givenchy Prisme Libre powder. And I got the shade number 1, Mousseline, which is the pastel shade. And I probably should have taken the plastic off of it before I got here, but don't worry, we'll skip to the part where I've got the plastic off. All right, I've successfully gotten the plastic off of this thing, and I'm just gonna tap some in here as I have seen her do. I got all 4 colors. Ooh. You can see there's purple, it's got purple, blue, white, and green. So we're supposed to be neutralizing redness. I love purple for brightening. I find it to look really nice on my skin tone. And to set my under eye, I'm actually gonna do something I've never done. I'm gonna use one of these little velvet things. She gets hers from Amazon, Alana Davison. And this was, I forgot to say, this was again an Alana Davison pick. So I saw these on Amazon and that's the ones I got. I didn't see her link a specific one. Maybe she did and I just missed it. All right, I've got some on the powder brush and we're just gonna try this out. Powder brush? No, this is a puff. Ooh. Ooh, that's pretty. You guys, that is blurring. That is blurring. Whew, that is blurring. I'm demonstrably more pale skinned than Alana Davison. So she uses a shade up, but this was the shade that, you guys, I just watched my fine lines just disappear. Oh man, look at that. I feel like an old time schoolworm. Look at that. Wow. That did not disappoint. I'm gonna be honest, this was the eye I was most excited to try because it looked so gorgeous on her and it blurred her out and I could see it, and wow, this did not disappoint. This is beautiful. Hydration break. Remember to drink lots of water. I'm trying to do so. And I'm doing so successfully. Very proud of myself. All right, I'm just gonna put a little bit of this up here so that we can do eyes. I'm very excited for that. I'm gonna do my brows off camera real quick and then jump right back on and do this Hindash palette, which is like, again, so intimidating, but we're gonna play with it. We're gonna see what happens. All right, I filled my brows in a little. Let's go ahead and jump into the Hindash palette. Oh my goodness, you guys. I am, again, intimidated. So this is basically a palette of gradients. So you can see each of the shades is like, you know, just a gradient. And I'm really excited about it though, because again, like I said, I saw Alana Davison use it. It looked really beautiful on her, and it did seem really cool that you could have all these different shades. So I think I'm going to go in with tan lines to just do my base. I'm going to kind of, you know, mix it as I've seen them do in videos. So you can kind of like, I'm going to stay closer to the light side because I am lighter, but I'm going to pull in a little bit of that darker side to just, you know, because I'm not completely white. There is a tiny bit of pigment in my skin. You know, I'm close, but not quite there. So let's see. Okay. Very smooth, very soft. This supposedly does not have fallout. And I'm really hoping that's true because I've already done my base and because I'm someone that prefers to do their base first. So palettes not having fallout is a very big thing for me. I know for some people they don't mind a little bit of fallout, but for me that's kind of like a big thing. Part of it too is not just that I do my base first, it's that I have eyelash extensions. Like right now these are Lashify. Normally I have them done professionally in a salon, but it's like a little too much time for me to be away from my baby right now since he's so little. So I don't like to have things fall into the lashes because then it's very difficult to clean. So I don't like fallout at all. So I'm very, very particular about that. All right, so I'm gonna do like a cat eye shape and I'm gonna kind of do what I saw Hindash doing. So I'm gonna take this like small little definer brush. It's like almost a tiny pencil brush. Or maybe I'll take this little pencil. Yeah, I'm gonna take this little pencil brush. It's from a brand I do not support anymore, but I just still have the brush. But any tiny pencil brush will do. I'm gonna go into Feel plus Real and kind of blend those together because I like that. That looks kind of like a nice shade for me. When I saw the Catween being done by Hindash, he did this darker one. But for me, I think that's a little too dark. So I'm kind of gonna make a cat eye shape. Ooh. And I'm just kind of bringing it in halfway. And I'm gonna bring it up because that's what I saw him do and I don't know, I kind of liked it. So this is very super pigmented, right off the bat, I'll say that. I love that I can get the shape. I'm gonna blend it out with a MAC 217 and I'm really just focusing on blending this part up here because I don't mind this part being a little bit deeper. And I'm trying to leave the lid open to kind of do a matte look. This is a little bit different than what I normally do, but again, I just kind of want to play with it a little bit because I think it is such like a artistic palette. And again, I watched one video of Hindash using this and this is how he used it. So I'm like, hey, when in Rome, let out a little bit more. I like it. It blends really nicely. I will say the only thing, and again, like this I think is part of what's intimidating about it, is like as I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, am I getting the same color? You know, you have to really remember how much you took from each, you know, side of the pan so that you can, you know, get the same color for each eye. So that's the only kind of like downfall is, you know, I think this is something really great for people that are super artistic in that way. I may not be that super artistic in that way, but you know what, we're trying and I'm kind of enjoying it. It's kind of fun. And it is actually a really beautiful formula. It's blending out beautifully. It feels nice. I love the shape that I've gotten. I just don't feel like it's as deep on this eye. So I'm kind of trying to play around with that a little bit. You know, I'm just gonna use my finger because okay, now I feel pretty good. All right, feel good with that shade. This is a completely matte palette. That's another thing that's a little bit different for me, but I'm gonna go in again with the tan lines and mix those two together. I'm kind of sweeping this way. And I'm just going to put that on like where I don't have any of that gradient that I just made, that little cat eye. Kind of just clean that up. I like that. It's kind of like a nice, kind of like matte eye. I don't do matte eyes a lot, but I think it's nice. And then I'm going to take a little bit of tan lines and put it on the inner corner just to brighten it up. I saw him do that and it was so beautiful because it was such a nice matte soft highlight that it looked really natural. It didn't look like I don't like to put shimmer shades right here. I find it to be so glaring on my skin. I think just because I am so pale and I just have, you know, like softness that I think the shimmer right there just looks really obvious on me. But this is beautiful. I cannot deny. That is really beautiful. Why not hit some right here? Let's just go full, 2014. And then again, I really like this. I don't think I would have to change anything to it, but I am gonna take just a liner brush because I want to take some of this darkest shade and do like the tiniest little baby sharp wing, just a tiny baby one. I love tiny baby shadow wings. You guys know that's my bread and butter. All right, so I've got like this flat brush. I'm gonna go into Intra and Fatum. Ooh, again, I feel like I'm a painter mixing paints. I'm just gonna do the tiniest baby wing. I mean, that's tiny. And just right under that brown. So just barely there. Oh, I love that. That is beautiful. I really like that. These are super nice. I feel like these are really nice for the specific like purpose of wanting a matte look. I think this might be a really great matte palette. I can't think if I have any like other just straight up matte palettes. Now for my lower lash line, I'm going to use the same liner brush, but I'm going to do Feel and Real because I don't want to, and maybe I'll pick up a little bit of Intra because I don't want it to be too dark. And I'm really staying close to the lash line, you guys. And only doing the outer corner. I cannot have too much under here. I just can't carry anything much darker than like a bronzer shade for me under my eyes, or it just looks too harsh. So I like that. I am going to take that same pencil brush I used though and just smudge it out a tiny bit again so it's not so harsh. And then I think I'm done with the eyes and I really like them. This is just so different than what I'm used to, and it got me out of my comfort zone. So I really like that recommendation by Alana Davis, and I think it's a really good recommendation. Again, she's someone that does more natural makeup, so the fact that she can use it, and like this is a palette, apparently you can use it anywhere on your face. So if I wanted to, I could go in with like Boy Plus Wonder, on the cheeks, or even, Love Kills, if that was a shade that would work for me on the cheeks. I don't think it would. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So I'm actually really excited to have this in my collection, and it was made in Italy, so check one for that. All right, let's get some blush on these cheeks. Okay, so for blush I had to trust the recommendation of both Julia Adams and my dear friend Kate the Great Beauty. She's like a blush queen. Okay, Kate the Great is. So this is the Say Dew blush, and I'm using the shade Chili. This is supposed to be like a mauve shade. I'm excited for this because again, I really trust these ladies when it comes to blush, especially Kate. I think she has the best taste in blush, and again, she's like a blush queen. So I'm just putting a little bit on, and I'm gonna use my beauty blender. That's how I normally blend blush, and this is really, ooh, that surprised me. See, I thought it disappeared, but it's there. I think this is definitely a very buildable formula, and I really like that. I love formulas that you can build up because I just feel like if you have too much pigment from the start, it can be too unnatural. And for this does not look unnatural. This is a very natural flush, and it is very dewy. I really like this. I mean, it's just, if you're someone that wants like straight up pigment out the gate, maybe you wouldn't love this, but I love this like nice building up of cheek color, especially. I think when you're very pale, you have to be very careful. Actually, I think everybody has to be very careful with blush. I mean, let's just look at many of the pictures from the 80s. A lot of people were just going hog wild with blush. So I love that I can do all this and it's still blending out very nicely, very naturally, very beautiful. And you have to remember, like, that may look like it's a lot, but with a liquid product like this, because this is a liquid, I mean, I guess it's creamy-ish, but it is a liquid blush. With a liquid like that, you're not using up a ton of product when you're putting that much on. It's not like you're going to go through this in a month. you could use this every day, and I'm assuming it would take you several months to go through it because you're just using a lot less. It's just the pigment. Oh, Mr. Sun, don't go away. Mr. Sun, Sun, Mr. Golden Sun. My kids love that song. I love that blush, but of course I'm gonna double blush. So let's go in. This is from Gucci. This is Radiant Pink. This Gucci blush, not the specific shade, but the blush formula was one of Kate the Great's favorites. And so I'm using that. Again, Kate is not just a YouTuber to me. So she is a YouTuber that influences me, but she's also one of my dearest friends. So I always love to try out her recommendations. And I often find with blush, we have a lot of the same taste. So I'm going to take my normal blush brush that I use. It's a double-ended hourglass brush, and I'm just gonna double blush, and I kind of flip it over to do the other side to kind of soften everything. But I love double blushing. Oh yeah, that is nice. Ooh, very nice. I feel very brightened and beautiful. I might have gone a touch overboard, but that's okay because I still have to do powder. Oh, I love that so much. Ooh, that looks good. And my lips feel very nice and like ready for a lip color. Haha. All right, for lips, I'm gonna try a Taylor Wynn suggestion. This is the Rare Beauty Kind Words Matte Lip Liner in Worthy. I haven't tried this shade. I have tried the Rare Beauty lip liner, I think a few months ago. I don't really remember it. It was back in the fall, maybe like September. So I'm gonna try this. This is supposed to be a mauve shade, and I'm a big fan of mauves. So we're gonna see if I like this color or not. It looked beautiful on her, and she, like me, is very fair. All right, so I really like that lip liner. Nice, kind of natural color. And what I've been loving doing lately is doing a lip liner with a lip oil on top. So I'm trying a lip oil from Michelle Wong. This was one of her year-end favorites. This is the Hermes Irresistible. I'm so bad with French, you guys. And this is the shade Rose Cola, which, by the way, I cannot find anywhere now. So I'm like so devastated, but I'm gonna be devastated if I love this, which I'm sure I will because Michelle has beautiful taste. So I'm probably gonna love this, probably. Ooh, this is nice, you guys. This is so nice. It's not slipping all around. Ooh, I'm slipping all around, but it isn't. It just goes on so beautifully. Oh my God, it feels like butter. Butter, like butter. Wow. That is beautiful. And I really like this shade. It's really beautiful. Oh, just like so nice. So, I think if I am going to pick up another one, I may get the Rose Pitaya color. That one was also very beautiful, and I think it would be great for spring. All right, I'm going to go in with just a touch of that Prisme Libra powder to kind of just touch up the places where I like to have a little bit more, you know, of a matte look where I don't want as much shine. I don't kind of do everywhere, but I get a lot of places. And I'm doing that because next we're gonna do bronzer. The bronzer that I picked was a Michelle Wong favorite. This is the Haus Labs Power Sculpt Velvet Bronzer. I got the lightest shade, light level 1. I have often found, I don't think Michelle and I have like the exact same skin tone by any means, but somehow I have found that any bronzer she's ever suggested that I've tried, I've really liked and thought the color worked really well for me. So that's why I wanted to try this one. All right, going in with my this is the brush I always use, and just kind of gonna get the edges of the face. See if that warms everything up, which is all I'm really ever wanting a bronzer to do, is just warm me up a bit. Oh, this is a really nice formula, light buildable. It does feel very velvety. I want to warm up just a little bit here. Just warm up my nose just the tiniest bit because I was feeling a little bit too light there. And I definitely want to warm up down my neck. Oh, wow. that warmed my neck up perfectly. Normally I have to work a little bit harder to get some warmth down here. This is fantastic on the décolletage. Holy. Oh, I love this. Already, I can tell you right now, like this and the foundation are my favorite. And I'm gonna be honest, I really like the palette too. The eyeshadow palette was pretty nice. It's pretty nice. So I found a lot of nice things here. I'm not gonna lie. Last but not least, I love how my cheeks are, but I do just want to try a highlighter from Kate the Great. This was her recommendation. It is the Merit Highlighting Balm in the shade Kava. I'm just gonna go straight in, and I'm just gonna barely though. I know what she would probably do her fingers. Let me do my fingers on one side. That is a nice, has just the right amount of tackiness. And it's not pulling up the product underneath it, which is what I'm always looking for in a highlighter. When I see highlighting balms, sometimes I get nervous because sometimes they pull up product from underneath them. This one did not do that. That is beautiful. I'm sure my neighbors like wonder, like, what are you doing, lady? This is a new house. We've only been here like 7 months. And so sometimes I'm like, huh, they must think I'm a little bit of a nut now, because all of a sudden I've just got like this big ring light in my window, camcorder, staring at myself. That's something else. My daughter's next to me playing with my makeup because of course she would. You know what 3-year-old's not gonna want to play with mom's makeup. So, all right guys, that's it. That's the finished face. I'm gonna be honest. This is a beautiful face of makeup. This is so much better than most of my trying new makeup videos turn out, and it makes sense why, because everyone that I talked about today, like everyone whose favorites I'm using, is a YouTuber that I really trust and that I watch frequently enough to know like which products work for them that might work for me. Because you know what, the truth is, you know, everything that an influencer or YouTuber or content creator suggests isn't going to work for you. You have different skin types, different skin tones, so many different factors. But it's kind of about figuring out, okay, what are our similarities? What are our differences? And that way you can figure out what works for them that probably will work for you and what you probably need to skip. Thank you to all the lovely ladies who inspired me to make this video. I'm just gonna go have a great day with this beautiful face of makeup. Oh my goodness. Let me know in the comments below, who are your favorite YouTubers besides me? I already know it's me. But besides me, who are your favorites? Do you have some of the same favorites as me? I would love to know. I can't wait to see you in the next video. Until then, take care of yourself. Bye.